Okay, let's make a start. Stop hitting me. Right. So here's question 17, AQA.
Yeah.
Inspector calls.
Quite so.
Would you plan this in the exam?
Yes.
Okay. And you reckon about 5 minutes?
At the most.
Yeah, I agree. I'd normally do maybe 2 minutes if I could get away with it. So would you like to just scribble your ideas for a 2-minute plan?
Not really.
You don't think that you'd find that useful?
Not to scribble my ideas.
Yeah.
Alright.
Go.
You're putting me on the spot here, I don't like it.
What's an exam?
Yeah, but I'm not on the spot in the exam, it's a game, isn't it?
Okay. What's the game now then?
Look.
Okay, well that was just over a minute.
Makes sense in my head.
Good, well that's what a plan is supposed to do. Right, now you take your plan. And so let's look at the marking criteria in the top band. So it wants you to be insightful and exploratory. And to explore, there must be some point where you're considering maybe 2 different points of view. Is there anywhere in your plan where you're doing that?
Here.
Talk me through.
We know that he is there to teach the people a lesson.
Yes.
And to get 2 points of view from whether they were taught the lesson, whether you think they weren't taught the lesson.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. So which characters would you focus on to say whether they've learnt the lesson or not?
Well, you'd have to say that the older characters don't learn the lesson, and then your argument would be whether the younger characters have learned the lesson.
Brilliant. So every candidate will talk about whether the older ones haven't, but you said whether the young ones have. So give me some evidence one way or another about Sheila or Eric.
Well, when you look at the story, they clearly see that there's a lesson immediately learnt.
Yeah.
But then we know the story was written somewhere before the First World War, about what was it? The story?
It's published 1945.
No, but when was it set?
1912.
Okay, and we know that the Second World War happened, so we could argue that they didn't learn their lesson because after the First World War they also had the Second World War.
Brilliant. Now, we don't want to get too much into that detail because the question is about the importance of Inspector Gould. But can you link it to why Inspector Gould is important, that lesson learnt at the end or not learnt?
Well, you always tell, I think you do a weird hand movement and you say, it's not a character. You've got to think of it as a construction that Priestley creates.
That is what I say.
Yeah. So that's why I wrote vector. He's Priestley's vector, and that's the purpose. He's a vector of Priestley's ideas, political ideas, basically.
That's a great term. This has come from your mathematical AS, has it?
No.
Okay. I haven't used that term before.
It's a vector in biology.
Yeah.
Is something that carries a disease, I think.
Okay.
Like a mosquito is the vector of the
malaria disease virus. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a great idea. Brilliant. Use that. I'm going to steal that from now on.
Well, you have to check it. I don't
So, well, it certainly works in the mathematical sense of carries the direction
and speed.
So, old style technology.
Yep. Okay.
You were explaining how he's the vector of Priestley's ideas. Tell me.
Okay, well, Priestley is a socialist, right?
Correct.
We know that. The only socialist character in the play that is in the play and not dead.
Yes.
It's possibly Edna. We don't know about Edna, though.
Yes.
And Inspector Gould. And Gould is there to show people the error of their ways.
Link it to socialism?
Well, he seems to show that capitalism causes many deathly things, and if everybody was socialist and cared for each other,
Yeah.
then this girl's horrible death would never have happened.
Okay. So I'm happy with your plan.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the criteria. You've started to explore. We're going to need to quote to get close analysis of detail. And then this in bold, writer's use of language is a heavy hint. You've really got to quote again. If you're evaluating, you've got to look at different effects, perhaps, of that language. So my question would now be, what quotations would you use?
Well, in my mock, I didn't read the book.
Right.
At all.
You just did it from memory?
This is the sneaky part. In the back of the book,
Yeah.
it gives you sample quotes for each character.
Give me the sneaky part.
And you can take a quote and lie about it, can't you? Be honest.
Yes, you could.
Why, you fool, he knows!
Yes.
Ghoul-like, right?
Yes.
Kind of supernatural being. You've got all of these.
Oh. I've never thought of cheating in this way.
It's not cheating, it's in the book, and it's in the exam text as well.
It's in the exam text.
It gives you loads of hints. You could probably do your exam just by reading the back of the book.
My own son has destroyed English literature for me. Okay, right, let's use the Harry Salles method of legalised cheating.
It's not cheating.
No, it isn't. It's in the exam rule. Okay, so we've got the Inspector Gould quotations. This is a bit revolutionary.
Here's his biggest socialist quotation. We don't live alone, we are members of one body.
Yes.
We're responsible for each other.
Yes, go on, talk me through that then.
Oh, that's your socialist ideals, right? That you're
Yes.
all part of one group.
Yes.
Right, and Priestley, like a politician, in this speech, which you might have to flick back to the book for, but I'm pretty sure he is very negative about all the death.
Yes.
And then Priestley says, now listen, this is how it really is, and this is how we should actually behave. Which is...
Brilliant. I'm sure in my video I talked about the language of members of one body. Do you remember it?
It's a religious language.
Good.
This is, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Yes.
I don't know.
Go on then. Link that to where's Paul in there? In Gould rather. Where's Inspector Gould in there?
The Holy Ghost, I imagine.
Good. So he's got a religious moral purpose.
Well, it was performed in a church, wasn't it?
I didn't know that.
In Russia, I think.
Well, yeah, it is in Russia. It was in a church, was it?
I think so.
We'll
I think
check
that might also be in the back of the book, but we'll...
Yeah, well, that's an awesome idea. So, okay, so socialism is linked actually to a religious moral purpose.
Yes.
Why does Priestley do that?
Well,
Why is he linking socialism to Christianity?
it's either he's Christian,
Yes.
or I'd prefer that he knows people that will look at the
watch
play,
it.
watch the play, are all Christian, and everybody knows the Christian morals, and he's saying that socialism is the epitome of the Christian morals, and capitalism is the Antichrist.
Okay, well now we're talking, because when we go back to our criteria, and insightful and exploratory, you've just done that, and you've just done close detail analysis on that quotation, we're members of one body, and you've evaluated it. So you've said it's much more effective if that's not Priestley's view himself, but actually he's using the views of his audience to persuade them that socialism is something they already believe in through Christianity.
Here's a nice phrase that I also spotted in my mock.
Yeah, go on.
It gives you quotes of people saying, the inspector is an embodiment of collective conscience.
Yeah, where's that?
Gareth Lloyd Evans here, number 4. It's quite funny, isn't it? Yeah, they have it all in the book.
Do you know, I've never spotted this.
Nobody did. We were going through it afterwards, and everybody was like, Harry, how did you get your quotes? I was like, Miss, because we went through it, and Miss was like, where's the quote from? And I said, look at the back of the book. And there was uproar in the class. Why did you tell us?
So the skill here from you in the exam is you have a limited number of quotations and you have to make them fit the question. So it's quite creative as a process.
And the other quotations that are so important you should know already, really.